guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we are looking at the best in slot teams when it comes to the treasure scramble. So I'm actually going to go through a Chinese guide that we have, but you can see guys, we have two more hours and the treasure scramble will begin. And one of the big things with this guys is not only with the conversion of a bunch of different teams within the treasure scramble, but we need to make progression in here because the loot in here is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to Stargazer cards, when it comes to time emblems. Really making sure that your formations are set in here make a very, very big difference. Now, one thing that I did want to note, guys, is a lot of times when I come in here, for whatever reason, the beasts are gone out of my formation. So they've actually been missing the last couple times that I came in here. So again, we want to make sure Team 1, Team 2, essentially Team 3 and Team 4 is set until we do make a little bit more progression. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the guide. All right, guys, so here is the treasure scramble tier, depending on which scramble we're in. So right now we are currently in the middle one. We are in the field. So I'm going to move this up a little bit and you can see they kind of broke it down with different tiers within here. And after this, guys, I'm going to go back. We're going to set some of our teams based on the heroes that you have built within here. So tier 1 within this version, you can see the top is a different version, bottom is a different version of the treasure scramble. So currently we are in the grassy fields, I guess, grassy plains, whatever you want to call it. But we can see tier 1, which means the biggest heroes within here. We have Ainz, and we also do have the awakened version of Thane. Very, very strong within this formation, guys. PvP aspect, of course, the awakened heroes are absolutely phenomenal within here, but you'll notice tier 2 we do have Yennefer, which is kind of popping her head in there. PvP aspect incredibly well, does have to have the 3 of 9 furniture to give her actually range. The better and the higher that you have these heroes built out, the better they're going to perform, guys. That is PvP. That is how the game is designed. When you look at the Legends Championship tournament, when you look at the treasure scramble, PvP aspects are made with the heroes, which is the reason why when the heroes get to a plus 80 engraving, they do get a big bonus in there. Tier 3, we have the awakened version of Baden, we have Talene, Athalia, and then Orin. Orin, of course, short of the tower and PvP, really don't see much of a use. Now Zorath, of course, meta, we have a star in here, and we do have Oden. Tier 4, we have Scarlet, and we do have Lucretia in here as well, which means we could definitely build out some pretty solid teams in here based on the heroes that we have here, because even at this point, guys, free to play, 1, possibly working on 2, even possibly 2 fully awakened heroes at this point. Even on my free to play account, I have 2 built awakened heroes. And I know the account is not that old. A lot of it takes some progression when you're pushing through the faction towers to really push that 20 floor mark to get some more of those time emblems, really focusing on building out some of these heroes. Now, interesting enough, guys, you can see Thane is here. Down here, it's Oden, so changes up a little bit with the awakened version of Thane. And then up here, it is Thane again. He is probably one of the strongest PvP heroes that we have within AFK Arena, if not the strongest. I would beg to differ, probably the strongest. But Ainz is another one, guys. Ainz in the PvP aspect does incredibly well. Now, we do have a couple counters for him as of now, but the chances of you fighting a counter team, just for the simple fact that this is just kind of set the teams and forget it, is a little bit more minimal. So I'm going to hop back over to the account. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to build out a couple teams that we're going to be using for this treasure scramble to get this started. All right, guys, so here we are sitting at the treasure scramble. Now, again, I'm going to adjust the formations based on the guides. I'm going to show you kind of the teams that they're looking to build in here, which we know, first of all, was the awakened version of Thane. So we're actually going to put him in here. But running in this comp, and again, using the ones that we have, just pulling from the guide, they're using Zorath in here. We're also seeing Astrilda in here. We're seeing, of course, heavy PvP guys. We're seeing Zafriel in here. And then we are seeing Leica in the first formation. Now, it doesn't include the pets in here. But overall, guys, again, the higher the investment that you have with these heroes, the better they're really going to perform. Zafriel, of course, doing a lot of PvP. Thane is just going to go crazy. When you have the combination of Zorath together with Leica, you're going to have a delay to enter battle. You're going to have the haste from Leica, which means that not only the crowd control from Zafriel, but the awakened version of Thane is going to just crush it in here with the build that we have. Now, I'm going to go with the Owl just because we know the Owl is a very, very strong pet, guys. In the second formation, we are going to use Aziz in here. So Aziz is kind of the one that they put in here. They do Ezio with Albedo. And then we do have Merlin, we have Aziz, and then a lot of times they run Mortis in this formation. Again, I want to see exactly how well these formations are going to kind of work. So let's put Mortis in here. And again, looking at this specific cycle, this is literally this specific cycle of the heroes that we're seeing within here. Again, I know Ainz does have quite a few counters, but I'm going to stay with the Winged Lion in this formation. This is going to be the first 2 teams that we're dropping in here. Now, when we get to our third team, again, I'm going to look over here. This is where we start getting into the tier 2 heroes, which include Brutus, the awakened version of Solus, and it also does put Yennefer in here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull all these up. So we have our first 2 teams. This one is going to be Brutus, guys, that we're going to put in here with Anasta as our team 3. And then they actually run interesting combination. Again, PvP is very different than formations. So we have Flora in here, we have Frampton in here, and then we have Peanut in here. So we have a star. This is the combination that players are running. Again, PvP being very different than what we see. And with Brutus, guys, I run our Rock Lizard. I'm going to run the Rock Lizard in here. First 2 teams, we're going to set up in just a minute with the heroes that we built from our last team. I'm just going to drop somebody in here right now as a placeholder, but I probably don't want to do that hero. Just for a simple fact, we'll probably put her in another formation. The next team, I'm going to go ahead and save those. And again, looking, we have team 2 teams, 3 teams, and the second part, this is going to be team 4. So looking here, guys, team 4, this was one of the teams that we actually utilized before. This team performed pretty poorly for me, but this one, because we've already used Albedo, we've already used quite a few heroes. This calls for the awakened version of Baden within this formation, which again, I do not have. So I'm going to look at some of the variations in here that we can actually utilize to see what we can build with the awakened version of Solus. Solus, of course, being very, very strong, falling into some of the top tiers that we've seen. But in here, we also seen Yennefer. Now, I do like running Yennefer with kind of a different team comp, because remember, guys, in a formation like this, she is very strong PvP. It is very, very strong. Yennefer is a very strong PvP hero. Now, also looking there, guys, we have Athalia, which again is a pretty strong combination. Halos we see in a few formations, but we don't want him up front. And then, of course, they have Lucretia in formations. Again, Lucretia Ulna has been a staple for some of the teams in here. So there are, again, a few different combinations that you can kind of run with the heroes. And when you get past the first formation, when you get past the second, the third, when you continue to add more formations in here, guys, a lot of it is what heroes do you have within formations and what can you really build within those formations. Again, I want to see exactly how these 2 teams run. I'm going to set these team 1, team 2 identical to this first team. And then I'm going to go into seeing our adjustments, guys, because if this team isn't working, if one of these teams are not working, we're going to make some adjustments. So I'm going to keep you guys up to date with the teams that we have in here, seeing how they work. Again, Ainz is kind of questionable. A lot of players were running the awakened version of Brutus within that formation, doing incredibly well. But as you know, we've combined quite a bit of stuff, which means that we do need to get a little bit more out of heroes. And we looked at the top tier heroes. I'm going to come up, I'm going to build a couple more teams in here, see exactly what's going to work within these formations, because this even is a little bit different when you look at the buffs and the debuffs than we do have like in the LC tournament, and also with the mysterious temple, the forbidden power in here. It is a little variation from our regular run-of-the-mill PvP teams, which can change up a little bit. So again, guys, I know they're pretty expensive teams in here. Second team, you should have absolutely no problem building. But this one, guys, the awakened version of Thane, you could even swap a couple other heroes in here to really make this work. I run Halos in here with the formation. I also run Hendrik in here with the formation. Hendrik is really solid in here. Astrilda, of course, very strong, making her appearance within a lot of PvP teams. But guys, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.